Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your boy, DJ Tan, right here on Tanitudes, which is an extension of Chat and Chill on the Soul FM. Well, tonight we are going to talk about attitude on Tanitudes. Now, a lot of people have some issues with trying to figure out, or rather, I should say, trying to make heads or tails of things that they really need to hear about their attitude. And it's not so much as how you treat people. It's just that sometimes people need a check, an attitude check. Your mama used to say back in the day, you better get that attitude in check. It's something that we all deal with. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The mind is your ultimate battleground. It's the space where the greatest and the fiercest conflict resides. It's where half of the things you thought were going to happen never actually happen. It's where your inner resistance buries you with negativity, and when you allow these thoughts to dwell in your mind, they gradually succeed in robbing you of peace. They rob you of your joy, and they rob you of your life. You think yourself right into nervous breakdowns and bouts of depression and anger and resentment time and time again, because you're playing things over and over in your head that never actually happen or going to happen. I can honestly say I know that because I've been there. I've been there. We've all been there. Even though we don't want to admit it, we've all been there at certain times in our life. But what we can learn from our trials, we can learn a whole lot from our trials. There's so much more about our lives and our fate that we can't control. It makes absolutely no sense to focus all of our energy on these things and then neglect everything we can control. So we put energy into things that we can't control, but everything that we can control, we just totally turn around and forget about that. We could decide how we spend our time right now, what we choose to focus on, and who we share our energy with. We can choose our words and the tone of voice and in which we speak to ourselves and to others. We can decide what we will engage in and read and study next. We can decide whether we're going to be online or offline. If we need to take a digital vacation, we can choose how we're going to respond to the challenging life situations when they rise, and whether we will see them as a curse or opportunities for growth. That's all on us. And most importantly, we can choose our attitude, which really influences pretty much everything else. So, of course, none of us are immune to occasional mood swings, but that doesn't mean we have to succumb to them. Whether your negative attitude is a common occurrence or just a sporadic phenomenon, which I highly doubt, because if you got attitude, you just got attitude. It just don't come up here hollering about something. I don't catch attitude too much, Well, I'm going to need you to take about 5-6 seats to the left, because we all have it. It's not a female thing. It's not a male thing. It's just a people thing. And it's critical for your long-term happiness and success that you choose to recognize when your mind is in the gutter and then consciously make adjustments. I can always use Orange Man. Y'all know I call that man Orange Man. I absolutely refuse to call him the Prez. Won't happen. So I call him Orange Kentucky Fried Chicken Man. The Orange Kentucky Fried Chicken Man. That's what I'm going to call him. Yes. That's one of the biggest struggles that we all have. I mean, not for those who think he's a he's a bag of chips and bowl of grits, but for the people who really know the truth. So we're going to talk today and try to get to some heads and tails about how we can do things and change how we see life. Because your attitude reflects a certain level of self-centered self-victimization. And that's what we're trying to get get a hold of here. We're trying to try to change some things. We all have that tendency to put ourselves at the center and see everything, every event, every conversation, every circumstance. Y'all spend most of y'all day clicking Facebook, clicking Instagram, clicking Grammygram, clicking all these things from the viewpoint of how it relates to us and only us. And this can have all kinds of adverse effects, from feeling hurt when other people are rude, to feeling sorry for ourselves when things don't go as planned, to doubting ourselves and we aren't, when we aren't doing things perfectly. Obviously we are not really at the center of everything, okay? That's not how the universe works. That's not how life works. It just sometimes seems that way to us. So be sure to shift your focus when it makes sense. When you catch yourself feeling like a singled out victim, think about other people. Think about other people you might help. Find little ways to help others, and that will help snap you out of your self-centeredness. Yeah, a lot of people say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not self-centered. Yeah, we all are self-centered and have that snap of our self-pity and that we're not worthy, and then you start to thinking beyond yourself for your own good, Attitude is still greatly affected by old stories. In the present moment, we all have some kind of pain and anger, present moment, sadness and frustrations and disappointments and regret. Notice this sadness. Notice this pain within yourself. Watch it closely and see that it's caused by whatever story you have in your head about what happened in the past. Either in the recent past or in the distant past, your mind might insist that the pain you feel is caused by what happened, not by the story in your head about it, but what happened in the past is not happening right now. It's over. It has passed. That's why they call it the past. It's because it's past. The pain, however, is still happening right now because of the story you've been subconsciously telling yourself about that past situation. It's simply a process of your thinking. You have to do your best to see it for what it is. Your attitude can reflect your inner resistance to reality. And a lot of people don't even want to go there. That's why I'm tan. I go there. I don't care if you don't like it or not. I'm going to let you know the truth, because the truth hurts. But when you know the truth, you go ahead on and do something about it. It's just that plain and simple. I'm not the go-to guy. I'm not the hey, rah, rah, rah guy. I'm the reality guy. I'm the guy that's going to tell you the truth. It's me. Most of y'all make yourselves unhappy simply by finding it impossible to accept life as it is presenting itself right now. Do your best to catch yourself. Be mindful of that when you accept the reality of the moment, regardless of how painful you allow yourself to grow and heal that way. You see, ultimately, happiness is not the absence of problems, but the ability to deal with them. So imagine all the wonderful things your mind might embrace if it weren't wrapped so dang on tightly around your own struggles. Woe's me, poor me, oh Lord, poor me. Poor me, me. You have to start looking at what you have instead of what you have lost, because it's not what the world takes away from you that counts. It's what you do with what you have left, you see. And that's why, your attitude gets caught up in fearing and hiding from change. You see, sometimes no matter how hard it is to admit, there are things in your life that aren't meant to stay. Change may not be what you want, but it's always exactly what's happening. Because the earth does not stop spinning. And sometimes saying goodbye is the hardest thing you will ever have to do. Or saying hello will make you more vulnerable and uncomfortable than you ever imagined possible. So at any given moment, change can seem almost too much to hear, too much to deal, too much to bear. But over the long run, change is ultimately the only thing that allows you as a person to learn and grow and succeed and smile again. So start reminding yourself that life gradually changes in each and every moment. And so you can do the same thing for the better. Your attitude is affected by your passivity and procrastination. It really, really is. Think about it. Think about it. So many of us waste so much of our time and energy waiting for the ideal path to appear. But it never does. Because we forget that paths are made by walking, not waiting. We as people forget that we shouldn't feel more confident before we take the next step. That taking the next step is what builds our confidence. And so we hesitate, we procrastinate, and we ultimately end up to succumb to the same old routines that have been driving us nuts for far too long. Truth be told, there are thousands of people who live their entire lives on the default settings, never realizing that they can customize everything. You don't want to be one of them. Don't settle for the default settings in your life. Find your loves, your talents, your passions, and start to embrace them. Don't hide behind other people's decisions. Don't let them, don't let others tell you what you want. For so long, I sit and I think about the things that we allow people to put in our heads. I've ran across so many people in my life that have said to me, I talk to my sister, or I talk to my brother, or I talk to my cousin, or I talk to my friends about this situation, and they kind of had a point. And I've always said to myself, they kind of had a point. And the hardest thing for me to understand when I'm dealing with people and circumstances is, why are we so quick to think that that person is always for you? I don't give a damn if it's your sister, your brother, your cousin, your aunt Frida from down the street, your best friend from down the way. Sometimes people aren't for you. Sometimes people do not have your best interest at heart. Sometimes people will tell you some shit out of pure jealousy. Sometimes people will change your thought process just because they know that the one you had was making you happy. Or that person that you had in your life that made you laugh and made you smile and made you really, really think this is really a great person to be with. But sometimes we take that for granted, and we take other people's negative thoughts and we put them within our own. And I think we do that sometimes just to try and make sense of the things that life has dealt to you. I find it very, 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 very strange, that people tend to live their lives that way. But that's that default setting that I was talking about. Don't let others tell you what you want. Decide your journey every step of the way. The life you create from doing something that moves you is far better than the attitude you get from sitting around wishing you were doing it. Does that make sense? Your attitude has to be a reflection upon your aversion to discomfort. So many of us don't even want to be uncomfortable. So we run from discomfort all the time. The problem with that is that by running from your discomfort, you are constrained to partake in only the activities and opportunities within our comfort zones. Have you noticed some people do the same thing every day? Every single day. It's like clockwork. I know some people that I don't even have to even talk to on a daily basis, and I know exactly what they're doing. I know people that I've known forever, and their path has never changed. With some people, I can set an alarm clock to what people are doing. I don't even have to ask some people, hey, what you doing? All I have to do is look at the clock. Oh, they're doing so. Because that's what they do every single solitary day. There is no change. Because those are the people that are happy in their comfort zones. And since our comfort zones are relatively small, we kind of miss out on most of life's greatest and healthiest experiences, and we kind of get stuck. We get stuck in that, debilitating type of cycle. Like for instance, like when you diet and exercise, first you become unhealthy, but because you eat the wrong foods, and then you're gonna go on this big old diet kick, where you're gonna join the gym and you're gonna eat salad. And you're going to drink a whole lot of water. You're going to drink a gallon of water a day. I'm going to make them little lines on my water. I'm going to make them lines on them at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then you look at that water at 4 o'clock, you still got half a gallon of water left. You know why? Because you tried to move out your comfort zone too quick. You got to take it one day at a time before it all gets worse. You got to stop rooting your attitude in unrealistic ideals. You aren't perfect. It's okay. Despite that, what you keep hearing inside your head, you can really disappoint people and still be good enough. You can fail and still be smart. You can be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserve of love and admiration. Everyone has disappointed someone. They care about at some point in time, but everyone messes up. Everybody lets people down. Everybody makes mistakes. Not because we're all inadequate or incompetent, but because we're all imperfect and human. Expecting anything different is kind of setting yourself up for confusion and discontent. So in closing, I just want to say to you all that having a healthy attitude is a really long road. It's something that you have to do for yourself. You have to start living for right now. Because let me tell you something, you are not always going to be a priority to others. You're not going to always be someone's priority. You're going to learn that, and you're going to learn that quick. And that's why you have to be a priority to your damn self. You have to learn to respect yourself. You have to take care of yourself and become your own support system. Your needs matter. Your needs matter. Start meeting them. Make your own happiness a priority right now. Breathe it in, take it in, write it down, take a picture, write a letter, mail it to yourself. And say to yourself, you are enough. You have enough. You do enough. then you got to breathe out and let it go. And just live right now in the moment with a self-validating, self-loving attitude. Say no to self. I am good enough. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. It might not even come. Worry about today. Change it one breath at a time. And if you feel like it, start writing a journal, a personal journal. I'm personally engulfing in an entire book about self-reflection. Because, when you think about your life, you've been through a lot. Just think about it. You are the only person that really matters. You're it. God bless you and God keep you today. I'll see you all on Thursday with the next Tanitude and inspiration. Always remember, you need to be a blessing to somebody, but first start being a blessing to yourself. Peace.